Hello, I'm the 996, and this video has to do with why I believe fast drafting is a great way to work on your first draft. So whether it be your very first draft of your novel, that's your first draft you've ever completed, or just in general, this is why I believe fast drafting works. So let's see. Another reasons that you should fast draft have to do with just getting it down and not waiting forever. For instance, there are some people who might draft for years on a single first draft. And you know what? I'm not putting anybody down. My first draft of my only book that I've completed and I'm currently revising, I had attempted that 2 times beforehand to complete the first entire draft, and I did not do that. Another way you can fast draft a novel, which in my term is 2.5 to 4.5 months, is basically making sure that you have NaNoWriMo as one of the months that you are writing your novel and getting the first draft down. NaNoWriMo is where you try to write 50,000 words of a novel in 1 month. And that's in Camp NaNoWriMo, April and July. In November is the official NaNoWriMo. If you do that during the time that you're drafting from the 2.5 to 4.5 months, then that's a great way to help make sure you get that word count down. Another thing that I believe in doing for fast drafting is trying to plan ahead. This is another concept that came from NaNoWriMo, where the October is kind of what they call Preptober. As I mentioned, October is the official NaNoWriMo month, where people try to write 50,000 words in 1 month. So, and for all the pantsers out there, I'm not sure what your creative process is, so please just take what you can from this video. I'm talking more of the plantsers, which is a combination of pantsing and planning, and the planners. I'm more of a plantser. I plan a lot about certain things. Other things I can't plan to the T. I'd be bored to tears. So if you do something, let's say before you start drafting, let's say you make sure you have your character. For me, for instance, I had a very short outline that's maybe about a page or a little over a page of my first draft. For my first draft, there's an outline, just very basic things that happen in the story. From beginning to end. Also, what I had was character developing worksheets. So my character profiles or character development worksheets were very lengthy. I will post below where you can get the types of worksheets I've been using. And I've also add other things I've heard about character, things I just think are just interesting in general. And that really helps me fully fledge my main characters. Also, if you like writing with music, I suggest you get a playlist. Think about another way to help. That helps you fast draft, because when you're stuck, sometimes having music that really matches the mood of your story, if you can write with music, can really help you get unstuck. So I would like you to think about the kind of themes that your story has. Is it about true love? Is it about finding yourself? Is it about saving the world? What kind of themes does your story have? And find some artists that you enjoy, and also the tempo of the different types of things you might be writing. Like you're writing a scene with this guy comes up to say, this guy named Barry comes up to Danica. It says, Danica, you are the love of my life, and goes on to this whole sappy speech. But instead, you're writing it right now in the first draft, so it's sappy, but it'll be better during the revision process. You know what? Make sure that you have some music that's nice. And is it supposed to be upbeat? Or is it supposed to be have Danica's heart beating quickly? Is it going to have music that has Danica being in a very wistful, blissful state? It's very calming and serene. You need to have your music if that's something that can help aid you in writing your first draft. Also, don't worry about certain things during your first draft until you're revising. Don't worry about timelines. The timeline could be Danica. I'm just using these names. These aren't people actually in my story. I'm just basically just using names. Danica is just an example. Danica and Barry love to go to the bakery every 5 days. It's a real treat for them, pun. So if that's something that you have in there, then your story, and then 2 chapters later, you have every 15 days. You're like, whoa, I thought we said 5 days, and now we're seeing 15. That's something different in the timeline you need to make sure about. If you're like, oh wait, did I say 5 days? I can't remember. I know a specific. Yeah, should it be every week that they go, or it should be every 15 days. That way it's like every other week, so that's why it's more of a treat. You don't have to figure that out right then. Make a little note and say, figure out whether it should be every 5 days or every 15 days. Danica and Barry go to the bakery. And then just keep on going. Also, another reason to fast draft is when those beautiful other ideas start coming in. When you start getting tired, you're at a place where you start getting stuck, you're writing through something that you really don't find the most interesting, but you know needs to be down there. Whatever it is when you're writing a first draft, if you get it down relatively quickly, you're not going to have to worry about all your beautiful, shiny, new ideas coming to you. And then it's so much easier for you to just put what you have on hold and then go to that. I mean, granted, you will more than likely have other ideas. Sometimes when your creative juices are flowing, you're writing so much, you will start thinking of other stories. And, write down like a little summary or so forth for that. But don't give up on what you're doing. Don't be fooled into thinking, well, just for a week I can put this away. I mean, if you have to write something else to make sure you get that creative juices that are flowing for another story down, write a summary, that's half a page, something like that, but don't let it distract you from your main story. And I know I'm being a teeny bit of a hypocrite because not when I did the first draft, but when during revisions, I have written multiple poems and I have written short stories. Another reason why my first draft is taking longer than expected as far as revising is concerned. But when you're doing the very first draft, what I consider fast drafting, be 2.5 to 4.5 months. Just make sure that you're focused on your story. Another thing about fast drafting is you have to make sacrifices in order to get this done. And you're not going to be making sacrifices forever. If you're doing a lot of fast drafting, then that means you can celebrate. Maybe you can go out to, you've been turning your friends down to go out to the movies with them. But you can say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and make sure that I'm able to do this. Yay! Woo-hoo. So, you know what? If you can, go to your friend, go out with your friends, celebrate, but make sure you've gotten a certain number of writing done. If you've gotten like a huge chunk of writing, let's say if you got like 3,000 words done that week, and it's not even NaNoWriMo or something like that, say, okay, I got 3,000 words done. Okay, I finished 4 chapters. Okay, yes, I am going to go out to the movies with my friends. If I don't, then I'm going to say, hey guys, catch you later. It's a lot easier when you have these larger chunks compared to just a small amount, and then you kind of wishy-washy about getting things finished. Another thing is if you want to go to a conference. For instance, what helped propel me to finish my first draft was going to James River Writers Conference in 2017. I was told there would be an agent there I could pitch my story to, and if the agent liked it, that meant that I could send the first few chapters once I finished revising. So that was something else that helped propel me to finish it because the agent wants you to have a completed first draft. So I completed that first draft before going to the conference. And it took me about 3 to 4 months to finish my first draft. So another reason to fast draft is it helps you really get immersed in the story. When you're writing that much, it's hard to not be immersed in your story. if you're writing a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there, you're writing your first draft, it's easy to get distracted by not just simply social invites, but maybe this great television show or some book that your own that you're, I mean, not specifically your own that you're writing, but a book that you're reading that you're really immersed in. You're really making sure you're writing a lot of word counts down. It's hard not to be having ideas that will come to you about this story. Now, I'm not saying don't take breathers. Of course, you can't just work and write. Should go out with your friends. You should go treat yourself to reading a novel or even listening to a book on tape or, watching a TV show sometimes. But your main focus when you're first fast drafting needs to be getting the bare minimum, the actual story on there. Some people have the characters develop more so before then. Some people say they figure out who the characters are during the first draft. I kind of do a little bit of both. I definitely want to know who my people are before I start writing about them, but then I still learn more about them as I drafting my novel, or even revising. But that's a whole different story about revising. So these are some reasons why I believe that fast drafting is so beneficial. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope you have a wonderful day.